Oh, hi everyone. Welcome to Talk Ads. And this is one of our episodes where we basically will be talking about everything digital, digital marketing, social media for businesses, and even how to manage your ads and much, much more. And today we have Mr. Amri here, who is my co associate, who will be sharing with us about some things that our client go through and not realizing
Hello.
it. Hey, what's
Hi,
up?
thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming on a short notice, man. Because as you noticed, today we have the all these announcements from our government where there's an
Right.
MCO lockdown and current state of affairs. I know it's quite rushed for you to you can't go back yet, right? Currently, you're not at your place, right? Yeah.
No. Yeah, because the announcement, during this, on the day of this recording for the listeners, this was the day when the Prime Minister announced like two major announcements in one day. It is like a few hours apart from each other. The number one was the another lockdown for 14 weeks, the total lockdown type, and the other one is this emergency ordinance. And so we'll be in a state of emergency for how many months? I think it's some until August. I don't remember the exact date.
Oh wow, this is basically
Yeah,
quite historic a moment for us. I believe
yes,
it's about
yes.
just about the same time where the Americans also declare their own state of emergency. So I don't know if it's quite coincidental or if it's just something maybe because our flags almost look quite similar, isn't it?
Because 2021, you can say is off to a really roaring start. So
Yes, I would say
it's
so.
already started.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
So
back to our
I was.
topic today. You were about to share
Yeah.
with us about the. So back on our topic today, you're going to share with us about the local businesses that your clients are currently running digital ads and all that, correct? And sometimes they face certain things where they did not realize they have achieved certain milestones, or shall I say, they don't see the answers right in front of them. So do share with us a bit more about the case study that your this current client that you're currently servicing.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the client that came to me asking to help out with the SEO. Right? This SEO. It's a local business. I can't really disclose the business, but it's a local business, meaning it's a brick and mortar business. Then they have to cover like certain area, like. So for example, like local businesses are like dentists. So if you set up your practice in Bukit Jelutong, for example, you want to cover the Bukit Jelutong area for your practice, that kind of stuff.
Okay, okay,
So so the client came to me with a problem, saying his problem was and I don't see it as a problem. I will explain later why. His problem was on the on Google, when people type for his search term, meaning his business plus the location. um his Facebook page was nowhere to be found on the first page.
okay.
That's his problem. So I went in and did like a simple audit, and I saw that yes, his Facebook page is nowhere to be found, but it's number one on the three pack maps kind of thing. When you search for something in a location, it will show you like the three maps on top of like, before the organic results. He was number one for that one. It was also like in the first page, I think number three or number four. He has a Google Sites kind of a property there, also on the first page, and they're worried about the competitors eating up his
I see.
Facebook.
But isn't the maps that you mentioned that pops up on the search engine? You're talking about Google Maps, right?
Yeah, the Google Maps kind of
Where
search
you need also
engine.
to either own the Google My Business account and claim your business, or it could be basically crowd. How do we say that? The crowd has basically informed Google Maps of that particular business in its location. So which was it? Was it that here he's already claimed that business, or it was purely organic by the crowd
I
itself?
don't have the okay, so I don't have the accounts yet. Once he sends it over to me, then I can check whether it's verified or not. But yes, it's crowdfund. Those are user generated kind of things where you can put it up on Google Maps and tell
All
people,
right,
okay,
cool.
there's this whatever this is
So
law
was it in a
firm.
way that when you search it and it didn't appear on the first page of the organic search on your left, right, when you do Google search, but on your right you have all the maps, the business maps, they all appear first.
Yes,
But
Yes.
isn't that
So they,
based? Oh, because they search the company name. Is that correct?
yeah, this is the brand name, and not even the just the brand name, even the what you call it, the generic terms for that industry.
Wow,
So
that's pretty good. Because
they
normally the Google
demonstrate.
Maps will only display if you're within those local businesses nearby. Sometimes people type cafe near me or stuff like that. But if you can type like
Okay,
search terms or even industry terms or even your company name and you appear on the Google Maps already, that's pretty good organic
okay. So
ranking, I
the
would
other
say.
thing about this that the other thing that I would like to point out about this case is it's actually a franchise. He doesn't own the franchise. He's one of the franchisees.
Okay, okay.
So he's also in that same area, competing with like two other franchisees.
Oh, I
So the
see.
ones taking up his so-called two places on Google Maps, on Google search. The first two or three places is the other franchisees within the same area.
Ah, okay.
So in this case, it's kind of it's kind of because the way Google does the algorithms now is that it favors the branding thing. So once once you appear in the Google search, okay, so a brand can appear many times in the Google search result, but there's no preference for like which branch is going to be shown first or second because to Google it's all the same. It's the same brand.
Correct. There's no precedent in that case because it's the same brand.
Yeah, yeah, but there are ways um, that you can make sure that your branch is up there competing with the other branch. But it's gonna well that's the gist of my case study today on or my rant rather because you know then I can do what he wants. I can get his franchise to go up and beat the other franchises in that particular search term. I can do it. I'm happy to charge for it. But look at
Okay.
the yeah, but look at what he's doing here. He's putting resources into what essentially is something that he cannot really control. You know,
Understood.
yeah. So you can have like fine if you. I think it's gonna take like 6 months or 7 months for me to actually do what he wants lah, complete the task and get his Facebook page back up there on the first or second position for his search term. Fine, I can do it. However, the resources that he's going to spend for that and the time, you might as well just use that to do paid traffic. Paid traffic, you can actually control what they see. You can control like okay, if you know like for example PJ right.
Okay.
So PJ there's like different sections of PJ or whatever. So you just want to, for example, um, market to the old town people in PJ. If you use like the simple search ads or even map ads, you can say um, in the ads dashboard you can actually specify it's either old PJ Old Town or section 14 or whatever access to you can really drill down to which area you want
That is
and
correct.
it's and that's actually something that is definitely in your control. But people are so brainwashed about this organic traffic is free, organic traffic is free, but it's not
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
There's
That's
always a
true.
trade-off. You want to be first page for this term, first page for that term, but the reality with organic traffic is yes, it's passive, but you don't really get the targeted traffic a lot of the times. It's to me organic traffic is a numbers game.
Correct. And especially if you mention if they're basically a franchise, so they're distributed all across the map, right? So it's a different kind of business model already. You're not really relying on being number one. You're actually more of a group effort because that is a group branding. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. But the situation here is like okay, for example, I give you the situation. For example, let's say because I can't disclose the business, but I'll tell you the situation and we using us as an example, right? So let's say we are both like Shell petrol station owners. You
Okay.
own one petrol station, I also own one petrol station. And for some reason, we both decide to set up shop in Malacca, for example.
Okay.
Or maybe Malacca is too small. Maybe I just use, let's say, Kota Damansara.
Okay. Kota Damansara. So I take
Kota
the one near
Damansara.
IKEA. You take the one near One U.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, something like that. See, so now Kota Damansara is basically you have like a very small area where there's franchises, but then how do you optimize that? You optimize for Shell, Kota Damansara, and the other one is for Shell, what, Bandar Utama.
Yes, correct. Bandar Utama. That's in, yeah.
Yeah. But since the brand name is the same, it's a Shell and Shell, the optimization is going to be like you have to put like 20 times more effort into that for, like, to really get the optimization for those specific things because it's too close together, you know.
Correct. So
And
basically,
then
what you're giving now is an insight that clients tend to overlook, right? They don't see like like we always say the woods for the trees.
yeah,
They're also missing the bigger
the
picture
forest.
entirely. Because if let's say you have a shell and I have a shell, and we both basically have our own target audience, right? But we know
Correct.
that some people who pump in your station might pump at my station sometimes, and sometimes those that pump at my station might pump at your station. So it's a
Yeah.
fairly even distributed business, especially when we talk about this kind of franchising. So I
Correct.
think sometimes the client needs to understand also where they come from. Did you think so? Is that what I'm
Yeah.
saying
So
is correct?
my analysis here is like, okay, you are a franchisee. Like for example, you and me, just now with that example, we are both franchisees. We don't own the brand. We are basically buying a chunk of the operations that we. So I bought the Hotel Masara operation. You bought the Bandar Utama operation. Because you wanna, you know.
Yes, correct.
So
But
so that's
anyway,
what.
since we brought that up and we are having this conversation, let's just say theoretically, since
Uh,
you have a more heavy traffic area, right? And we know if you do search like gas stations near me and they're near Bandar Utama, they're not going to see your Kota Damansara near IKEA, right? They're going to see mine where it's nearer to One Utama. So
yeah,
in that
correct.
scenario, is there any way possible that let's say you would like to leverage on organic searches or ads so that people can see your station first instead of mine? Is that possible or
Yeah, you can use paid ads. You can use there's a lot of different ways you can use, yeah, especially for petrol stations. If it's petrol stations, then you can use maps ads, which I don't see a lot of people using. So if you use maps ads, it will trigger for when people are searching
yes,
for
exactly. You know, sometimes when
for
you're stuck in the traffic, you see your ways. They tend to pop up a
yeah,
little advertisement right there, right? And I
yes,
occasionally do get this kind of petrol station ads, which tells you that there's something a free giveaway or
correct,
extra bonus points, but you can go there
correct,
now. You're
yeah.
nearby. It does happen. It does. But wouldn't that cost a lot of money? And is it
No, it
worth it?
wouldn't because of this business owners that I see that are too focused on. I mean, the agencies, I guess, did a good job of educating everyone about SEO, but now everyone only thinks about SEO.
So is
Whereas
it okay?
there's
Sorry.
this whole ocean of traffic over there in the maps and ways. And I mean, talking about this, we're just talking about local businesses.
So
That's it.
isn't it fair
So
to say that these clients of ours sometimes it could be more of an ego issue? You know, they want to be on top. They want to be
yeah,
first.
I think that's
Isn't
the biggest
it?
kiasu thing. It's the kiasu thing.
It's a
You cannot.
kiasu thing, huh? So it's a
Yeah.
Malaysian thing lah. Oh, yo, teruk lah.
So for me, like if I were the business owner, I would just take a look at the channel. The channel meaning the whatever keywords terms that I'm looking at, and then I'm say, okay, so keyword term plus location. So I'm looking at the search results. I'm already in the number one for the local map spec. I'm already also top five in the organic search.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Good.
yeah. In
So
that case, yeah, I would say that's pretty good. I mean, based
yeah,
from also my understanding and doing digital ads myself and marketing, you pretty much got a lot of your angles covered. I mean, you shouldn't even bother about it. I mean, it's
yes,
not my place, but if I were you, what I would suggest is in terms of a franchise business, right? There's no other way they can generate any other further income from their products that they sell or their services, correct? Because it's a franchise. So the only thing they can leverage on is probably the traffic coming in there to be serviced. Am I right?
Yeah.
So if they would like to run a separate campaign to drive traffic there, they could, and you can do that, of course. But here's my
Yeah.
question: if it's a franchise business and this particular branch does that, will he be crossing any contract terms with the other branches that doesn't do this kind of promotion?
So as far as I know, a franchise setup is where you are leveraging on the brand name. So right off the bat, you buy the. That's why it's so expensive, depending on like
Yeah, yeah,
the
correct.
cost of the cost
Because
of the
we do
franchise.
understand that franchise business, the main hit,
Mhm.
the main franchisor, right? They are the ones technically in charge of the marketing, right? It's not
Mm.
the franchisee. They are the ones just running the business. But like I said,
Yeah, not,
if
yeah.
out of the box he just wants to run his own ads, it 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 can be done, right?
I don't see that that depends on the franchises. Some franchises don't allow their franchisees to run any ads at all. They want it depends on how much control they want over their business.
Right, that's
So
true.
so
But we understand
if
you're
it's
not allowed to
leveraging,
review your client's name, and we
yeah,
respect everybody's privacy here. But this is a classic case scenario here. Like basically, your client is already at a very good position, right? We're talking like way here, and people are like paying a lot of money just to even get close to that, and he doesn't realize what he already has. So it's quite sad. But I hope that you
absolutely.
manage to convince your client otherwise and show him the
Uh,
woods for the trees.
Usually I don't really do that. I just go with whatever they want, and maybe I will advise them once I've helped them achieve whatever they want, even though it's me, it's a waste of time. But the
Yes, of
thing,
course.
yeah, the thing about this situation is that it's like it's resource management to me, because digital marketing and marketing in general is about resource management. You have only limited amount of money, you have limited amount of time. Okay,
Agree.
so when you're growing your channels, once you reach you have to like before you enter any channel, if you go to SEO, you have to already have like a stop loss kind of thing. So I'm going to stop focusing on SEO once I have like um, half of my keywords on the first page of the SEO. So then stop doing that for a while, then focus on other channels, because the last thing you want is a business that only depends on one channel for the traffic.
Understood.
And that's what's happening with this one, with this business. It's their traffic source is almost 100% SEO.
That's
It's
a pretty good
less
thing.
it's a less of an issue for them because they're a franchise, so they can ride on the brand of the franchise.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
exactly. So, from what I understand here,
but
your client's
but
in a
if
very
you
good
only
position.
have your own, yeah. So but you have like if you don't have like that franchise brand backing you up, and you don't have that going for you, and you're only dependent, because I've seen it a lot of times. Websites that only depend on organic traffic. Before this, you have those viral sites that depend only on Facebook ads to do the whole clickbait era. The moment
Well,
your business only depends on one
it's safe to say
product
that the
or
era right now and the era coming is a bit different because it's so dynamic now. We have those who are still a bit old school in their thinking that being ranked number one is the priority, right? And we know that that's not true. Because if you'll be surprised if you do your research, some other businesses that rely on traffic online, they have their own target audiences. I'm not going to mention any online stores, not the big ones, of course, but we're talking about the smaller ones that sustain on their own niche audience. They have traffic coming back, and they might not even be found on the first or second page because their products are so niche. So it's a very diverse world out there. Literally, the internet is a jungle. Like we say, trees everywhere. There are short trees, tall trees. Some are weeds. Some are still growing. Some are probably parasitic. You get what I mean? And it's
yeah,
it's
true.
interesting that in this dynamic world, we have people who are so focus minded on what I see only, but they do not realize that there is more than that, than just what they have. But
Yeah.
regardless what you
So
have explained, I said already he's at a very good position. It's pointless. But as
yeah,
just to be fair, because you are doing service after all, if that is what the client wants and you can do it, and he is paying or she is paying for it, then by all means go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah,
at
correct.
least you get to
I
prove your
have
point that it's
statement.
doable, but at the expense of the client. Because if that is what the client wants, right, they're gonna walk into KFC, they're not gonna order a Big Mac. It doesn't make sense. So yeah, and it's not illegal. And like I said, if it doesn't breach any contracts with the franchisor, and I think it's perfect. So anyway, we're about to wrap up this first talk on this client experience. If you
Yeah,
have anything else left to share for the next few minutes, uh,
I think I'll just wrap up with this. Marketing is like the future of marketing because we're seeing a lot of things happening with Facebook right now, and I mean not just Facebook, the big tech companies. Apple is closing up their ecosystem; they're not sharing the data with anyone. Facebook is now feeling feeling the heat from that, and then they're trying to take all the WhatsApp data and all this stuff is happening. Like Google is trying to move away from completely data thing, and then they're offering like app platforms for developers and that kind of stuff. So I mean,
true.
going forward, there's going to be oceans and oceans of traffic out there. So as businesses, as like small businesses, no matter how big or small you are, you need to have like something kind of like um, plan to right out of the gate to have like 5 or 6 at least different traffic sources that you can count coming into your business and
Okay.
converting into sales and leads. So I think that's the takeaway from this. We have to get out of this tunnel vision kind of thing where
Haha, tunnel
like
vision. True.
yeah, I just want to beat everyone on the SEO, but you can use that time a lot more effectively and efficiently if you took that time and start developing like 2 or 3 other traffic channels. So
That is
yeah,
true.
I'm gonna wrap up with that, I guess.
Well, okay, that was great. That was good insight, very good sharing, and of course, we'll have more other topics to talk about because you already gave some preview of the things like you mentioned the Google giants and Facebook now trying to make do away with all this analytic and data. They're moving towards more towards app based, software based, SaaS. Not to mention also they're probably trying to do away with all the agencies right now that actually was the ones that helped them grow to where they are today. So there's like literally cutting an arm off and saying, "Oh, we don't need you anymore," or "We got something else." So it's
Yeah,
interesting. It's a highly controversial, at the same time, very interesting topic. But we'll talk more on the next coming up episode. So for all those of you who are listening, if you have any further questions, if you face the same problem like what Amri has described, do drop a comment in our comment sections below and let us know. And if your questions are interesting enough that it does hit a bone or two and we can pick at it, we'll definitely get back to you and make a session of it. All right, guys. So this is Talk Cats, and we're signing off. And Amri, thanks so much for coming. Amri, what do you want to say,
thanks for
Amri?
having me. Thanks for having me. Bye
Amri, don't forget you're actually our co-host too. You got to say something more happening than that.
bye. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for having me also here. And then for the yes, what Eugene said was right. If you have any questions, have anything you want to clear up, just put it in the comments or wherever you're seeing this, and we'll try to do an episode on that and try to respond to that.
All right,
And
great,
that's it
great,
from
great.
me. Yeah, have a nice evening.
We don't know what time they'll be watching this, but yeah, have a good day. All
Okay,
right,
have a good
bye.
day. Yeah.
Talk Cats out.